Chapter 41. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Translator. Vesper. Madame Chen saw Ning Mengyao laughed and frowned in dissatisfaction. What are you smiling about? Nothing, only feeling that older lady. Are you still asleep? What kind of dream are you having? You want me to apologize to your daughter? What kind of qualification does your daughter has to make me apologize? And want me to promise in front of the villagers? What kind of identity are you using to plead me? Ning Mengyao could fear a scholar. That would be impossible. Saying it in a more pleasant way, her son had fame; saying it in a rougher way, her son was a poor scholar. Only a scholar's mother was already this kind of demanding, as if what she said was the most obvious thing. She truly thought she was a heavy weight. Calling you older lady was only because of politeness. Do you really think that I fear you? Rather than coming to trouble me, it is better than you go back to teach your own daughter, lest she embarrass herself in front of other people. Ning Mengyao coldly ridiculed. She originally thought that this way was very good. Even if that woman was not grateful, she would also be happy to agree. This way, her daughter's reputation could be saved. Who knew that this woman disagreed? Don't you not able to tell good from bad? Ning Mengyao lightly smiled, and the eyes looking at Madame Chen carried indifference. Older lady, you can do whatever you want, I will wait. Would she be afraid of a village woman? Of course not. She could do whatever she wanted. If she wanted to drive her away from here, they would have to see whether she had the ability to do this or not. Madame Chen was infuriated until she widened her pair of eyes and gritted her teeth as she glared at Ning Mengyao. Finally, she stomped away since she did not get any benefit from Ning Mengyao. The slowly fading figure made Ning Mengyao slightly smiled. Wanting to retaliate. Then she would wait. Young Cui was waiting for her mother at home, and seeing Madame Chen coming with angry huffs, her heart was doubtful. Didn't mother go to trouble that little loose girl? Why would she come back in anger? Camellia. Wow, they actually know that they are finding trouble yet still don't think themselves as shameless. She asked out the suspicion in her heart. Mom, what happened to you? That little loose girl did not know good from bad. It seems that we have to call your big brother back to make it work, Madame Chen angrily said. Yang Cui stared blankly. Seeing her own mother, her gaze carried fluster. Her mother did not get anything good from Ning Mengyao. How could this be? No matter how astonished Yang Cui's heart was, in the end, Madame Chen called back her second son, Yang Huai, back. 3 days later, Madame Chen carried Yang Huai, who just came back, to go to Ning Mengyao's house gate once more. Ning Mengyao was still teaching the children. Yang Huai stood outside and listened to that clear voice lectured. The things she explained, he obviously had listened to them before, but listening to this lecture made him had the feeling of being suddenly enlightened. For a moment, he was fascinated by it. Seeing her son not speaking and quietly listening to the voice inside instead, Madame Chen's face became more and more ugly. Son, what are you doing? I let you come back not to listen to that loose girl's lecture, but to let you help your little sister seek face. Madame Chen unhappily stared at her own son. Yang Huai slightly knitted his brows because she was his mother, so he did not say anything, but her crude words and appearance left him very unsatisfied. Mother, she is still an unmarried maiden. Can you not say little loose girl? This can make other people think that you are vulgar. Yang Huai frowned. The words he spoke caused Madame Chen's face to darken. Madame Chen glared at her son furiously. You fancy that little loose girl? I tell you, unless I die, don't you dare think about it. Ning Mengyao heard the voice outside from the inside and could not help but frowned. Seeing the children are writing words, she put down the book in her hand and walked out. She saw Madame Chen's face slowly turn dark. What are you both doing? If you're finding trouble, then please come back when it's afternoon. I still have matters to attend to. You loose girl. Gunyang, we are really sorry to disturb you giving lesson to the children. Yang Huai curtsied to Ning Mengyao and apologetically said. Ning Mengyao's way of lecturing was unlike the teachers of his school, and it was very fresh and easy to understand. Camelia's rant corner. Finally, a decent character from the villain's side. I forgot to announce this, but there will be 4 chapters of General's Little Peasant Wife and 1 chapter of Minister Family's Black Belly Woman every week for a short while. Just asking your opinion, do you like it when the translators put in their opinion in the chapters? Et. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. When Madame Chen came with her son, she was holding her head high and haughty, but seeing her son was so polite towards the woman she disliked, even going as far as apologizing, made Madame Chen felt that she was thoroughly hitting her own face. It is nothing. If you have no other matter, please leave this place. Ning Mengyao immediately gave out an order. Seeing her haughty had angered Madame Chen through and through. She furiously glared at Ning Mengyao and pointed at her while raging. Ning Mengyao, you loose woman. You truly are a seductress, daring to seduce my son. I tell you, if you want to marry in my family, I won't allow it unless I die. Ning Mengyao scrunched her brows. The pit in this old lady's head was too big, wasn't it? When had she ever said that she wanted to marry into her family? Old lady, did you contract mythomania, an abnormal or pathological tendency to exaggerate or tell lies? Ning Mengyao gazed at Madame Chen. Madame Chen glared at Ning Mengyao and angrily said. Saying you're a loose woman is already light enough. Ning Mengyao saw that Madame Chen could not understand human language, so she turned her head to see Yang Huai. Your mother has a sickness here, isn't she? She then pointed at her own head. Yang Huai twitched his lips and speechlessly stared at Ning Mengyao. Everyone in the White Mountain village knew that he was a scholar, hence even though his mother did things out of bounds, they would still let it go on his account. He truly had never heard someone who was blunt and frank like Ning Mengyao. He was speechless and, at the same time, felt shameful. Mother, can you not be like this? Yang Huai truly felt that he was thoroughly shameful and helplessly spoke to Madame Chen. Yang Huai, I let you come today is to make this loose woman apologize to your sister and also give us guarantee. If not, then this matter won't end. Madame Chen argued tediously and vexatious, she did not give her son any face. When Yang Huai wanted to spoke, Ning Mengyao cut him off. Your own daughter climbed the wall and entered a man's house, and because it was seen by me who was buying praise, you want to push all the blame onto me, is that right? Yang Huai's face changed. When he came yesterday afternoon, he heard the villagers discussing this, saying that her sister was shameless. That time, he was very angry, but when he wanted to ask things clearly, those villagers ran away once he neared them, rendering him helpless. Now, hearing Ning Mengyao said this, it seems that the matter was not like what Madame Chen said. Turning his head to look at his own mother, Yang Huai gravely questioned. Mother, what exactly happened? What? You believe other women and not believe in your own mother. Madame Chen was furious. So what if she told him lies? He was her son, he should listen to whatever she said. Yang Huai stared at Madame Chen in disappointment and softly spoke. I believe she would not tell lies. Ning Mengyao's eyes could not tell lies as it was very clear, while just now, there was panic that flashed through his mother's eyes. Seeing this, he knew who was telling the truth and who was not. But his trust towards Ning Mengyao made Madame Chen so angered she almost vomited out blood. This was her good son. I provide you to study, and now that you have the capability, this is how you repay me. Madame Chen gritted her teeth. Yang Huai gazed at Madame Chen deeply. If mother only wants to use my fame to do these kind of things, then I will no longer study, lest bringing shame in the future. Having this kind of mother who could not differentiate good from bad would make his future bleak. Why would his classmates refuse to visit his home? Because he had this kind of mother. Madame Chen glared with wide eyes. You dare. Ning Mengyao saw that the two was going to argue and coldly said. If you want to argue, then go back home to argue, don't do it in front of other people's house. You. This is all you loose woman's fault. I'll hit you to death, Madame Chen said and acted it out, but before reaching Ning Mengyao, she was stopped by Yang Huai. Yang Huai impatiently stared at his own mother. Mother, if you want me to become an official in the future, do less of this kind of thing. If even his own family he could not manage well, then what qualification did he possess to become an official? To manage others. Chapter 43. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Mengyao was quite surprised. She did not think that this man was not bad, at least he did not inherit Madame Chen's personality. If not, then it would make people disgusted. Madame Chen was rendered speechless by Yang Huai's words. Yang Chui who was there with them became dissatisfied as she pointed at Yang Huai, roaring. Is this how you speak with mom? Yang Huai, you read that much books for what? You shut your mouth. If it weren't for you being shameless, how can this matter be like this? The things you did yourself, I do not have the obligation to cover them for you. Yang Huai did not leave a shred of feeling in the words he spoke to Yang Chui. This sister of his was spoiled rotten by him. Now, he did not know how to handle her. Yang Chui glared at her brother. From when she was small until now, this brother was not the one who pampered her the most. If discussing the matter of pampering, then her eldest brother was the one who pampered her the most while this brother of hers did not like her, even looking down on her. Madame Chen glared at her son. She was originally not satisfied with him and now hearing him saying those words about his sister, her heart became even more unhappy. Is this how you treat your own sister? Yang Huai did not say anything and only shook his head in disappointment. How could he not like his sister? When they were small, he pampered her, but a pity, she was now spoiled rotten. Yang Chui glared heatedly at Ning Mengyao and raged. Ning Mengyao, you shameless woman. You want to put a drift between me and my brother's relationship, making my brother helps you. Ning Mengyao was truly impatient towards this one family. Please take your sister and mother away from here. Embarrassment flashed through Yang Huai's face. Throwing his face in front of this kind of woman, really made Yang Huai's heart unhappy. Mother, let's go back. Don't find trouble to others in the future. This is all what Yang Chui deserved. Yang Huai faintly spoke and his voice carried thick impatient. These words not only hit Madame Chen's face, also helping outsiders while bringing down his own sister. Madame Chen was infuriated that she felt uncomfortable, but could not say anything. She pointed her trembling hand towards her son and was not able to say anything for half a day. In the end, she could only take her daughter away in anger. She truly threw her face away so far today. Her own son actually helped other women to bully them. Was there anything that was more ridiculous as this? After the two left, Yang Huai looked at Ning Mengyao with guilt. I am sorry. The matters today are my sister's fault. I hope you can forgive her and not dispute with her. She is still a child. He did not even believe these words, how could others believe this? A child. That's only what your family thinks. You better look out your sister and don't bring trouble to me. If not, I will not let the matter go this easily. If it weren't for the fact that Yang Huai's personality was not bad, she would not let it go this easily. Running to her gate without reason and scolded her around, then able leave peacefully. There was never this kind of good thing under the heaven. Yang Huai actually still wanted to get closer to Ning Mengyao. He liked this maiden, but under her reserved words, Yang Huai carried awkwardness on his face. He could only leave with a shamed smile. Standing for a while on the door, Ning Mengyao turned to leave. When she came back, the children had completed her assignments. Seeing them, Ning Mengyao smiled faintly. It was indeed happier to be with these kids. When all the children left one by one in the afternoon, Yang Xiao-er walked from the outside and looked at Ning Mengyao with a frown. You mouth Yang Cui. Although these words were asking Ning Mengyao, but that obvious tone was like interrogation. Lifting her pupils to see Yang Xiao-er, Ning Mengyao did not answer, only tidying the things in her courtyard. Seeing Ning Mengyao ignoring her and treating her like empty air, Yang Xiao-er's expression turned ugly. Ning Mengyao, I am talking to you. Did you not hear? If you beg me, I will help you. My relationship with Yang Cui is not bad. Yang Xiao-er looked at Ning Mengyao with her head held high. She finally had something that could contend with Ning Mengyao. She would make Ning Mengyao shamed in front of her. Chapter 44. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Yang Xiao-er was friends with Yang Cui ever since they were little, only because Yang Cui's family's condition was better than hers, so she wanted to play with Yang Cui, hoping the girl could help her family. But since she often went to the town, their relationship became fainter. Now that she was back, although Yang Cui was haughty, but their relationship was still good. Wanting Yang Cui to let Ning Mengyao go could not be done with a sentence. Of course, what Ning Mengyao had to pay for it was not something she could know. Ning Mengyao still did not spoke anything. After tidying her tables and chairs and walking towards the kitchen, she alone did not want to make anything exquisite and randomly fried 2 chicken eggs. Adding the rabbit meat sauce, she ate them all. Seeing the things Ning Mengyao ate, a covetous glint flashed through Yang Xiao-er's eyes. The sauce smell from that jar was really good, making her could not help but drool. What are you doing? I will also want to eat. Seeing Ning Mengyao putting back the jar, Yang Xiao-er abruptly spoke out. Glancing at Yang Xiao-er, Ning Mengyao ignored her, instead, turning her body and put the things in her hand back. Yang Xiao-er was still anticipating Ning Mengyao begging her. You must know that Yang Cui's brother was a scholar, but seeing Ning Mengyao, she was not minding this matter at all. This kind of though made Yang Xiao-er's facial expression to turn ugly. When Ning Mengyao wanted to leave, she wanted to say something, but saw Ning Mengyao carrying a back basket. I want to go out, if you have no other matter, then please leave. That faint tone indicated that Yang Xiao-er was a complete stranger. Yang Xiao-er's haughty tone made her unhappy, especially seeing Yang Xiao-er's facial expression. It was still better that the heart won't fret what the eyes don't see. Should she get angry, then it would not be good. Seeing Yang Xiao-er's unwilling expression, Ning Mengyao's lips raised in a ridiculing smile. Leaving while taking the back basket, Yang Xiao-er was kicked out of the house while looking unwillingly at Ning Mengyao who walked towards the upper part of the mountain. A shady haze was obvious in Yang Xiao-er's eyes and finally, she darkened her face then leave. Seeing Yang Xiao-er who entered her house, Yang Cui was impatient. How was it? How else can it be? She did not put you in her eyes. Yang Xiao-er curled her lips and unhappily answered. Once Yang Cui heard this, she squinted her eyes at Yang Xiao-er and from the other girl's expression, she was telling the truth. You sure? Of course. She said this herself. I said that only if she is willing to apologize to you, you will forgive her, but she did not say anything. As she said this, she also glossed over Ning Mengyao's expression to Yang Cui. That kind of expression angered Yang Cui until she threw the thing in her hand to the floor. This Ning Mengyao really thought that she was something. Even if she was not good, she was the sister of a scholar. Based on what did she, an orphan, look down on her? She dared to look down on me. My brother is a scholar. At this time, Yang Cui had forgotten how Yang Huai did not give her any face before at Ning Mengyao's house. Yang Xiao-er nodded her head and said to Yang Cui. That's right, this is really too much. How can it be like this? Whatever you're like, you're still the sister of a scholar. Who is she? She actually dared to treat you like this. These words were comforting Yang Chui and at the same time, putting oil in the fire, making Yang Chui even angrier. As expected, after hearing Yang Xiuer's words, the expression on Yang Chui's face became bad, as if she had eaten a fly. Yang Chui smashed the thing in her hand onto the ground and raged. I will definitely make Ning Mengyao regret ever doing this. The sinister hate in the voice made Yang Xiuer could not help but laugh. Go quarrel, make a fuss. At that time, she would get easy benefit. These two people planned, but what they did not think was everything they said was heard by the neighboring Qiao Tianchang. He knew the matter of Madame Chen kept on finding trouble for Ning Mengyao these past few days and wanted to help, but he was clear that if he appeared in such a timing, then it would only make things more difficult for Ning Mengyao. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. But hearing the things they said now, Qiao Tianchang became worried. If things continued this way, then something would truly happen. After thinking over it, Qiao Tianchang looked at the neighboring wall and walked out. Walking to Ning Mengyao's house, Qiao Tianchang was somewhat embarrassed as he entered. He knew Ning Mengyao saw him and let him in. Is there anything you need? She saw Qiao Tianchang outside just now, as if he had something to tell her, and find it embarrassing to enter. What do you plan on doing to Yang Chui and the rest? Qiao Tianchang wanted to know her thoughts. If things continue this way, then the one who got unlucky would probably be herself. Ning Mengyao was stunned and looked at Qiao Tianchang in suspicion. Why do you ask this? Are you afraid that I will do something to Yang Chui? Qiao Tianchang did not think that when Ning Mengyao heard his question, she would first think of this. He helplessly shook his head. It's not that. What relation does she have with me? I came here just to warn you to be careful. Yang Chui's mother is not a kind person. If you truly crossed her, the one eating a loss would only be you. Looking at Qiao Tianchang weirdly, Ning Mengyao felt that this man was truly strange. Why would he suddenly came over and say these to her? You may not put them in your eyes, but they will, if they truly want to do something to you. In their eyes, you only have much money and could not do others, especially since you're an orphan. Qiao Tianchang seemed like he knew what Ning Mengyao was thinking and gazed at Ning Mengyao earnestly as he spoke. Ning Mengyao furrowed her brows. She did not put it to her heart before, but hearing Qiao Tianchang's words, it seemed that things were truly this way. Even if she had contribution and assimilated into the village, but if the villagers wanted to oppose her, this was still possible. It was like what Qiao Tianchang said. In their eyes, she was only an orphan who had money and did not have power. Strong dragon could not pressure snake on the ground. This was a reason that spanned from ancient times. When she first came here, she only wanted to went through a leisure life and did not tell those bunch of people where she was going. Seeing it now, it seemed that her thoughts should be changed a little. Wanting to have a happy leisure life, she had to possess power and authority to make people fear. When making people fear, she would also make them not able to point out any mistake. At that time, even if someone wanted to oppose her, there would be no one willing to help. Oppressive was short on mouth, making people irresolute. This reason was clear to anyone. Camellia. A with diuresis A with ring above. C I 1/4 A A with diuresis A 1/2 is the original text, but I don't know what it means. While the villagers here were unsophisticated. Although their life was not much, but they were simple and honest. Seeing Ning Mengyao's silence, Qiao Tianchang was uncertain. What are you thinking about? Just thinking what I should do next. Ning Mengyao shrugged her shoulders. She could do big with the things she wanted to do, but would not make Ling Luo felt it and visit over. She needed to think this thoroughly first. Thinking about it, Ning Mengyao descended into a state of pondering. Since you already have your own thoughts, then that's all right. It is not convenient for me to help you. If I speak out, then those people would probably be even more unbridled. You should be careful. I will help you in crucial times. Xiao Tianchang earnestly looked at Ning Mengyao and said in his deep voice. This matter was hugely related to him and it was also his fault. If it weren't for him, Ning Mengyao's life would still be peaceful and not enter this kind of thing. I know. Thank you for telling me this. It's nothing. Then I will go. Saying this, he turned and left. Seeing Xiao Tianchang's leaving figure, Ning Mengyao faintly furrowed her brows. This feeling was strange. How it was strange, she could not say. Turning her body and entering back the room. Ning Mengyao deeply pondered under a big tree in the courtyard. How should she deal with this? If she acted hastily, then Ling Luo would probably knock on her door soon. If that happened, her life would be a mess and this was not what she wanted, but she could not do other things too. Chapter 46 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Mengyao silently stared at the plain of vegetable field. If she could not do anything related to the modern world, then being a landlord was not a bad choice. Thinking this, Ning Mengyao laughed. Maybe she would also open a store. Having a plan in her heart, Ning Mengyao stretched her waist lazily. She locked the door and walked outside. When she arrived at Yang Zhu's, Yang Lulu and Madame Qiao were doing embroidery in the courtyard. The two of them were very happy. Yao Yao, you are finally visiting. Yang Lulu put down her embroidery and grabbed Ning Mengyao's arm and said with a face that indicated she was wronged. That pitiful form made Ning Mengyao couldn't help herself but laugh. This girl really was. These past few days, because of Madame Chen's matter, she did not let Yang Lulu went over. Even the time in which the student studied was lessened. I see that you are bored. Ning Mengyao smiled. Speaking about this, Yang Luli's face collapsed and stared at Ning Mengyao sadly. You're still laughing here. How do you plan on handling Yang Chui's family's matter? She really did not know. Why would those people find trouble for Yao Yao, such a nice person? Yang Lulu did not like it one bit. It's nothing. It cannot lift any big wave. That's right, is Uncle Yang at home? Thinking of the purpose she came with, Ning Mengyao asked Yang Lulu with a smile. My dad is out because of something. What are you searching him for? There are some things. Then I will wait for him to return. Ning Mengyao smiled, not minding at all. All right. Ning Mengyao sat on the side as she watched the two girls embroidering, her lips slightly curled up. Now, Madame Qiao was also following her little aunt to learn how to embroider. Towards her own sister-in-law, Yang Lulu was very satisfied and very generous. The three of them chatted while doing activities and until an hour later, Yang Zhu returned with a face full of exhaustion. Dad, you're back. Uncle Yang. Yang Zhu saw that Ning Mengyao was present and his face carried smile. Yao Yao came. What are you coming for today? I want to find Uncle Yang to buy some land. Buying land? What are you buying land for? Yang Zhu looked at Ning Mengyao in surprise. She did not look like someone who could plant. Why would she buy land all of a sudden? This was unbelievable. Yang Lulu also looked at Ning Mengyao in surprise, her expression was as if she had seen a ghost. Yes, I want to buy land. Maybe it is for personal use or to rent it. Ning Mengyao smiled as she gave a random explanation. Yang Zhu thought it over. It was reasonable. A good bilk was still income. Okay then. How much do you plan on buying? How many available lands are there in the village? Ning Mengyao pondered and gazed at Yang Zhu. Yang Zhu helplessly looked at Ning Mengyao. There is tens of mu of land empty around your house. What happened? The whole family violated something and the land was taken and has to be distributed all over again. This is what I did today. I originally wanted to tell this to the villagers, but if you want, then I will directly give it to you. Yang Zhu shook his head. Once something like this happened, he would become busy. If only busy, then it's fine, but in the end, he did not get anything. If one bought a good land, then that was a happy thing, but if it was a poor one, then sprays of saliva could flood it dead. This kind of energy-consuming thing, if not necessary, he really was not willing to blindly meddle. Ning Mengyao thought about it. Smashing her own doorway was nothing, and it was also near, so she nodded in agreement. Then please give me. Uncle Yang, why don't you elaborate to me? Yang Zhu nodded and started to elaborate. This piece of land, there is 20 mu that had good absorption, 15 mu for medium grade, lower grade is 5 mu. Dry land and mountain land are 35 mu altogether. Although the land with good absorbability rate is more expensive, but wanting to buy all these land would need not small amount of money spend. L.C. The land that can absorb water easily is 8 silvers a mu, the medium grade is 6 silvers, the lower grade is 4 silvers. The mountain land and the dry land have the same price, 2 silvers once a mu. Mengyao girl, you really want to buy? Yang Zhu uncertainly stared at Ning Mengyao and spoke with worry. Yes, I want to buy. The total is 340 silvers. Can you please help me settle the formalities? I don't quite understand those. Ning Mengyao was embarrassed. She had never done this before, so this was truly her first time. Asterisk mu is an ancient Chinese measurement. It varies with location but is commonly 806.65 square yards, ranged from 1/30th to a hectare, 333.333 to 1,250 square meters. Camellia. So Mengyao dear's first step towards world domination. Mwahaha. Insert evil laugh here. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Very well. I will be going out because of this, so I will also help you settle this matter to make it swift with no problem. Yang Zhu said as he walked out. Being amused by Yang Zhu's enthusiastic form, Ning Mengyao was helpless. Uncle Yang, I haven't even given you the money yet, are you going to go like this? Yang Zhu was stunned and just realized what he was doing. He laughed in embarrassment. Ning Mengyao took out 350 silvers and gave it to Yang Zhu. Uncle Yang, I know that going to the county to manage the documents would have to spend a lot of money. If there are some left, then count it as labor fee. No way. How can I accept? Yang Zhu immediately declined. Uncle Yang, if you keep pulling your pipe, then I won't be able to request help from you again. There were village laws in a village. When buying land, there will be this kind of benefit. Yang Zhu helplessly looked at Ning Mengyao. Fine, I will listen to you. He then left the house and preparing to settle Ning Mengyao's matter. There was worry about the land this time, so Yang Zhu was able to spend little effort to settle it, signing the land under Ning Mengyao's name. When the villagers got this news, everything was done. Not little did not speak anything, only feeling that Ning Mengyao was very rich. Once she bought the land, she became a little landlord. Only minority who wanted to buy the land was unhappy. They had not even heard a wisp about it, and the land was already bought by someone else. How could there be such a thing? So the people who wanted to buy the land discussed together and decided to come to Yang Zhu's house. One of them was Madame Chen. Although her family was prosperous, but did not possess much land. She also wanted to buy more land to rent and receive the profit. But now, this could not be done. The crowd arrived at Yang Zhu's house and Madame Chen spoke up first. Village head, although we know that your relationship with that little girl is good, but you cannot do this. You sold the whole land soundlessly. When did you ask our opinion? Madame Chen's words were somewhat unpleasant, especially to Ning Mengyao who came because she heard the news. When she wanted to counter, Yang Zhu spoke up first. Hearing your opinion. Who is the village head? Me or you? You all say that you want to buy the land. How about you all buy the whole 75 mu land or what? Madam Chen's face turned ugly. You cannot say like this. Even if we do not buy all the land, we will also buy a few mu. You sold all the land to her, do you still want us to live nice? Madam Chen's words were blatant threat. Yang Zhu's glanced at Madam Chen and faintly said. I sold the land to Rent Yao girl because of coincidence. When she went over to ask, there was also land available. Moreover, none of you told me beforehand that you want to buy land. Do you want me to visit all the houses one by one to ask whether you want to buy land? Who is to blame here? Buying land in the village was like this. Wanting to buy land, then say it in advance. When there is land available, the village head will notify them. But they said that they wanted to buy land, yet did not say anything about it. Not saying wanting to buy land and speaking about it now, weren't they searching for trouble? The crowd listened and looked at one another. That was right. They did not tell the village head before. Since there was someone who wanted to buy all the land, then wasn't it good news? They also could not make the village head notify their houses one by one. If it was like this, then there would only be the mountain land and the dry land left behind. The one sold would be the good land. But the person was not like this. She did not care whether the land was good or bad and bought them all. What could they say against this? Instantly, no one disagreed. Only Madam Chen was unhappily making an uproar. Village head, are you looking down on people? Yang Zhu wanted to speak, but Ning Mengyao was one step ahead. She stood and gazed at Madam Chen while lightly saying. 75 mu land, 350 silvers altogether. Since you want to buy, then give the money to me now. If you do not want to buy all the land, then don't make a ruckus. You. Madam Chen glared at Ning Mengyao. She only wanted to buy a few mu land. It was impossible for her to buy the dry land and lands that could not produce crops. I what? If you want to buy, then buy all the land. If you don't want to buy, then don't make an uproar here. You are still a scholar's mother, yet you don't avoid making an embarrassment out of yourself. Ning Mengyao unhappily snorted coldly. The crowd shrunk back and did not say anything. Ning Mengyao's words were very clear. That was, if you have the ability, then buy all of them, but if you didn't, then scram aside and cool off. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Madam Chen glared at Ning Mengyao, her face was unsightly. From the time her son became a scholar, no one had made her face this ugly. Heatedly glaring at Ning Mengyao, it looked as if she wanted to eat Ning Mengyao, chew her to bits. You slut. No one knows whether or not that money is clean or not. What are you so proud of? Ning Mengyao swept a glance at Madam Chen and was not the least bit angry. Even dirty money, you don't have. The person beside could not help but laugh, seeing that Ning Mengyao did not look like someone who could do those dirty things. Her personality was too cold, so even though she was easy to converse with, no one dared to speak too much to her, as if they could disturb her. What are you laughing at? Do you believe me that I will let my son to jail you in the prison? Once the crowd heard this, they became unhappy. Instead, Ning Mengyao laughed a laugh that was filled with ridicule. What a big threat, ah! Ignorant people might even think that your son was some big official, bringing people to the prison. I really want to ask, did the folks commit any serious crime? That's right. Madam Chen, do you think that having a scholar as a son means that you are amazing? We did our own thing and you want us to go into the prison. Who do you think you are? Madam Chen, don't overestimate yourself. After Ning Mengyao, not little amount of people began clamoring. Ning Mengyao knew that from this day, Madam Chen would probably become the village's street mouse. Madam Chen glared at Ning Mengyao but did not say anything. She said those words were her own problem, why would she fuss over others? Yang Zhu saw that they made quite a ruckus and looked at them. Alright, alright. Why the need to quarrel? What a big deal. Madam Chen, your son has not become an official and you're already like this. Then how would you be once your son becomes an official? When that time comes, won't the whole village become your families? Young Huai was a good child, but his mother was not as reliable. Madam Chen came today because of the land, but did not think that she would be angered to this point, almost directly vomiting blood. Seeing this and seeing that, in the end, Madam Chen left in anger. After she left, Ning Mengyao looked at the people and smiled. High-quality land and middle-quality land, I will definitely rent out. You all see whether or not you want to rent seeds, but there will not be too many. You can also talk this with others. The amount of these kinds of land was not small, anyway. Dioviko the people turned silent for a while and nodded their head, then left one by one. Ning Mengyao had thought of this earlier. The dry land and the mountain land might be used by her for farming, while the other lands will be discussed later. Uncle Yang, I am really sorry to trouble you. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Zhu in embarrassment as she spoke. What are you talking about? This is what I should do. Yang Zhu happily said, and thinking of something, he gazed at Ning Mengyao in worry. Girl, you have to be careful, Madam Chen, that woman. I know, don't worry, Uncle Yang. Then I will go back first. All right. You go back. After leaving Yang Zhu's house, Ning Mengyao did not go back, but went to inspect the land, preparing to do something about it. Regarding the mountain land and the dry land, Ning Mengyao felt that this place could be used to rear chicken and goat, but managing this was troublesome. She might have to hire someone for this. Walking while pondering, she step by step walked a bit far. Ning Mengyao's footsteps stopped suddenly, her eyes slightly squinted and turned her head back. That kind of feeling of being watched, it could not be wrong. As expected, 10 meters behind, there was a man. His expression was obscene and wretched, one look and people knew that he was not a good person. Seeing Ning Mengyao noticed him, that man did not stalk and quickly ran forward, wretchedly looked at Ning Mengyao. Little lady, where are you going? Do you want Big Brother to accompany you? Big Brother. This kind of person also wanted to be a big brother. It was simply shaming the words, Big Brother. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Ning Mengyao measured the other person. He was around 30 to 40 years old, his height was not tall, but he was ugly. That face that looked like orange tree bark was carrying a kind of smile that made her very disgusted. Under this kind of smile, Ning Mengyao was truly disgusted. You want to be my big brother? Ning Mengyao raised her brow at the other party and asked with a smile that did not look like a smile. Wang Lai was a villager belonging to the neighboring village to White Mountain Village. He usually did not do any good thing and the maidens in his village were all harassed by him. Most of the time, once the maidens saw him, they would ran away, deeply afraid being tangled with him. Wang Lai saw Ning Mengyao and smiled lewdly, his saliva flown down instantly as he stupidly stared at Ning Mengyao. That's right, that's right. I want to be your big brother. I want to be your lover, big brother. He had heard that this maiden was very rich. The vast plain of farmland was recently bought by her. If he got tangled with her, then he would not need to worry about money. Thinking like this, Wang Lai directly walked to Ning Mengyao. In the eyes of Wang Lai, Ning Mengyao was that kind of soft and weak person. She would definitely not his match. But when Wang Lai wanted to hug her, his body was suddenly thrown away and harshly smashed on the ground beside. Ning Mengyao walked to Wang Lai's side. With her arms crossed, she looked down at Wang Lai from above. Wanting to be my brother. And lover, big brother at that. I will let you be my lover, big brother, I will let you follow me. As she said, Ning Mengyao kicked Wang Lizi's body. Ning Mengyao had learned martial arts before and did not gathering her strength, she kicked him continuously, making the person unstoppably cried out. That expression was very pitiful. He knew it then that she was not some weak person. This was simply a thorny rose. "Oh, my grand aunt, I am wrong. I will not do this again. Please let me go." After a few kicks landed, Wang Lizi begged for mercy. He was never a hard bone, so begging like this was normal. Ning Mengyao's foot stopped kicking and squatting down to stare at a certain person who was hurdling his body, coldly saying, "Wanting me to let you go? Then you should say who sends you to follow me." In this village, she had never seen this person. A person of another village, how could he ran to White Mountain Village out of the blue? Even following her. Using the head of the toe thinking, then one could know what happened. Wang Lizi was stunned. He did not think that this maiden would guess it correctly. "Why aren't you saying anything? If you don't want to speak, then it's also fine. We can continue. I want to see how much can you endure." Ning Mengyao stood and nonchalantly spoke. As she spoke, she raised her foot, as is that foot would kick him any time. I'll speak." Wang Lizi protected his own head and immediately answered. "Then don't speak nonsense. My patience is not that good." Yes, I'll speak. It was that family in your village that has a scholar. His mother said that you're rich, moreover, you're beautiful." Wang Lizi's voice became smaller as he spoke and until the end, his words were not audible. Ning Mengyao looked at Wang Lizi, her gaze was cold. "Are you sure that it was Madame Chen?" "Yes, that's her. Her daughter also told me to tarnish your innocence." Wang Lizi saw that Ning Mengyao's gaze was ice cold, he could not help but withdrew his neck and swallowed down his saliva. He would not come to White Mountain Village again after this. Truly was demanding one's life. Ah! Stand, go back. You. What do you want to do? Not doing anything, just wanting you to testify about Madame Chen. Why? You don't dare. Ning Mengyao looked at Wang Lizi with a smile that did not look like a smile and coldly said. Wang Lizi's neck shrunk back and quickly shook his head. "I don't dare. Her son is a scholar, you know, that means he did not need to kneel before the county magistrate. How could I dare? Being beaten by me until you can only lay on the bed for months, or obediently follow me. You choose." Ning Mengyao lowered her head to stare at Wang Lizi and asked in a freezing tone. Wang Lizi wanted to cry but had no tears as he looked at Ning Mengyao. "Grand aunt, I beg you, I know my wrong already. I have eyes but did not recognize Mount Tai. Please let me go this once. I will no longer dare." Ning Mengyao did not spoke, only using a chilling gaze to stare at Wang Lizi. Finally, Wang Lizi chose to be beaten by Ning Mengyao and not go see Madame Chen. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Ning Mengyao deadly looked at Wang Lizi who was pleading non-stop. This was not the result she wanted. This time, if she could not teach a lesson to Madame Chen then she would at least make her reputation ugly. "If you help me to testify against Madame Chen, I will give you 20 silvers. Ning Mengyao lightly said. Once Wang Lizi heard 20 silvers, his eyes widened and they were filled with conflict. Should he agree or not? Finally, Wang Lizi resolutely nodded his head. "Okay, I will go with you." Ning Mengyao looked at Wang Lizi with squinted eyes. "You better keep silence regarding this matter. If I know you don't, I will let you die without even a corpse. If you don't believe me, then you can try." Fear filled Wang Lizi's eyes. This woman was scary. He could hear that what she said were all true. At this moment, Wang Lizi had only known what kind of person he provoked. I know. I will never tell others. Wang Lizi immediately nodded his head. Ning Mengyao carried Wang Lizi toward White Mountain Village in satisfaction. After returning to the village, Ning Mengyao directly walked toward Madame Chen's house. People who were watching this got suspicious. What were they doing? Why would the helpless of the neighboring village walk toward there? Thinking about it made them suspicious, so they one by one followed after. Ning Mengyao led the people over to Madame Chen's house. Their house was only lightly shut. Ning Mengyao originally wanted to kick her way in, but when she was about to do that, she heard voices from inside. Mom, do you think Wang Lizi has done it? Yang Chui looked at her mother in a worry. Relax. We are all clear on what kind of person Wang Lizi is. When the time comes, I really want to see how she can still live in White Mountain Village and opposing us. Madame Chen coldly laughed as she ridiculed. She wanted that SL*T to marry the ugliest man and see whether that woman could still oppose her. The people following Ning Mengyao saw her standing outside but did not do anything, so they got curious and wanted to ask, but was stopped by Ning Mengyao. After that, they heard something shocking. What did they say? They actually wanted to let Wang Lizi to harass Ning Mengyao. How did she offend them to the point that they would do this kind of malicious thing? In the end, the crowd could not bear to listen further. Ning Mengyao used a leg to kick the door of Madame Chen's house. Once the pair of mother and daughter heard the noise, they turned their head to see Ning Mengyao and Wang Lizi, who had a bloody nose and a swollen face. Their faces changed, especially seeing the crowd of villagers behind them. The mother and daughter pair glanced at each other. The villagers couldn't have heard what they said, right? Ning Mengyao, what are you doing? You dare to trespass to private residence. Laughing coldly, Ning Mengyao looked at Madame Chen, who was still haughty at this moment, and ridiculed. Trespassing private residence. Then I really want to ask, what does hiring someone to ruin others' innocence counts as? Madame Chen's heart was startled and her gaze wandered. She finally glared at Ning Mengyao and roared. Who knows what are you talking about? Madame Chen, you still want to quibble? We all heard it outside. We heard Yang Chui saying how to scheme against other. She is still young yet already so vicious. Who will dare to marry her in the future? That's her. Madame Chen, your heart is also vicious, is it made of steel? Exactly. They dare to do this, isn't it because there is a scholar in their family? The villagers' freezing irony and burning satire made them uncomfortable, especially Madame Chen. Hein. Speaking now is breaking the law. I can sue you all to the court for false accusation. Until this time, Madame Chen was not seeing coffin, not shedding tears. Ning Mengyao shook her head in disappointment, faintly saying to Madame Chen. Since it is so, then let us go to the court. We will see who is right and who is wrong at that time. Once Wang Lizi heard this, he instantly knelt. Grand Aunt, I know my wrong. This is all what she let me do, giving me money saying that as long as I tarnish your innocence, I can get your fortune. Wang Lizi right now was hating Madame Chen very much. It was all this woman's fault. If it weren't for her, how could he become like this?